Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Fylde Coaching Podcast. I am joined once again with my co-host Lewis Eaton. How are you, pal? Did you have a good Easter?
Yeah, mate, I had a good Easter. Did you?
Yeah, man. Yeah. Lots of chocolate, lots of fun. That's me. Yeah. But the main thing about this podcast is football's back finally. But it's been about how many months now? 7.
6 or 7, yeah. Been a while, and it's first game back last Wednesday, and we've got a game on Wednesday coming up as well.
Yeah.
It's weird. I think, especially when we were playing, when we went on Wednesday, it was like getting that like back playing with the lads and lads you haven't seen for like 6, 7 months. Do you know what I mean? And seeing all them again, it was a crazy feeling, to be fair.
Seeing everybody's lockdown haircut and seeing what everybody's. Speaking of lockdown haircut. Yeah, it was good. It was good to be a coach again, finally, after so long. We're doing a sports coaching course, and we've not even had the opportunity to put what we learned in them years into actual practice. So it's just good to get back into it. So we're going to talk about like our coaching, how we coach throughout the day, the difficulties we experience, and stuff we're going to improve moving forward. So first of all, I feel what the first kind of issue was we didn't know how many players are going to turn up. We didn't know who's going to be playing, what position, what formation. We didn't have any chances to train, to get used to some of the players because there were some new players. Only a few, but still, we didn't have time to meet him. It was kind of just thrown straight into the thick of things, and I believe it kind of affected our coaching in like a negative way. What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'd agree with you. I thought most of the stuff we were doing, it was quite rushed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
We had to like kind of make the team on the day because we didn't know who was going to turn up. Because obviously there's been a little bit of lack of contact and stuff with some players, and obviously there was new players. So yeah, I definitely think that affected our coaching. But I think we both went there with the attitude of it was going to just be, we're not going to really say much. You're just going to enjoy yourselves. I think that was a positive I'd take away from that. That we just really said, didn't we? Just go and enjoy it. Like, you haven't played football for 6 months. It's like if you make a mistake, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Just enjoy yourself. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean,
that's definitely something. Yeah, definitely something we definitely focused on beforehand. We definitely said our main goal is just to have fun. We don't care if we lose, even though we did win 8-2. For those who are interested, for those trying to get that in there. No, we did. Yeah, but we won. But regardless of the result, our main goal is just to get everybody together and everybody to enjoy their football again, and then just meeting people they've not met in 7 months. For many probably viewers who are watching who've been part of a sports team before, you're not really daily contact with your teammates, but you still have this special bond with them. And because of COVID, they've been taken away from a few players. So it's just nice just to getting that back into it. Everybody's together. Nobody felt different. Everybody got into with the banter, and that's as coaches is our main thing.
Yeah, I think at the start as well, you could tell that we weren't pushy with our coaching in the sense of we could tell that everyone was a bit unfit. Lockdown, obviously that's lockdown, and everyone was and you could tell first 10 minutes in that people were like already lagging behind, but it was just like, oh well, we have to just get back into it. And I think as coaches, what we've been trying to encourage is just that engagement and that fun aspect of it, obviously, that we've talked about from like the first podcast. And I think that's what we really put into our coaching that day, was like how we got everyone engaged. We had like a really good laugh about it, I thought. Because we just tried to make people, finally enjoy sport again, because it's been so long. So getting them back and getting them engaged and enjoying it was the main thing, I think.
Even though they were all blowing, they still had a smile on their face. So that's still the main thing. But like moving on to like the more technical side, how do you reckon we kind of like set up in a maybe not technical, more like tactical? Like how do you reckon how did we set up the game? How did we use our tactics?
Yeah, surprisingly, because we played a diamond, didn't we?
Yeah.
And it surprisingly, me and Cam, were looking, and I said to him, I said, "Oh, like you can see the diamond there." And it's like, well, it's not like everyone's all over the place and behind. I was like, you can see it there. And like, we've been off for ages. So that's like that's like a mad thing. But like, I feel like obviously because when we went to the game, we just picked that formation on the day, didn't we?
Yeah,
Really.
there's a personality as well.
But I think and obviously we knew we were playing and stuff like that. But I feel like now because we're gonna be getting back into it, it'll be a lot more trying to find that perfect formation for our team. And I think that's
Yeah.
what we struggle with quite a lot, to be honest.
Here's a question for you, pal. Do you reckon because of lockdown, the use of video games, so what I'm going to talk about is FIFA. Do you reckon everybody's been playing FIFA a bit more? So when we did throw in this formation, which is kind of uncommon for like a recreational
Yeah,
level,
felt
do you
for like
reckon
a video game player. I know what you mean. Yeah.
do you reckon people understand? Do you reckon video games have developed some of our players' tactical awareness through like the
Yeah.
positioning from playing video games because of COVID, just the excessive amount?
Yeah, I think that's like a really interesting take on it. To be fair, because you do notice like when with video games, especially with like FIFA and stuff, there's like a select amount of formations you can pick. So
Yeah.
obviously, people if they are playing them video games, which I know they were, would they're gonna be on. Yeah, we know what that formation is in the role because of that. Like they visualize it on the game. So I think that's
Yeah.
like quite a really interesting point to
Is it?
take from that. To be fair.
Yeah. Because it will be like because you kind of if you're playing the game for so many hours you'll understand where your players need to be, so you'll have this understanding of where I need to be. So in a way, video games has benefited us as coaches in the sense of we didn't need to tell the players what to do. We didn't have to instruct them onto the field. We didn't have any other players like talking about the positioning. They
Mm.
kind of understood it themselves. So definitely, that's definitely a positive in some sort of way from COVID.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think that's a really interesting way to take about it. I think we could possibly delve into a bit deeper into that, into like like another podcast
Yeah,
about
definitely.
how like video games have like a positive effect on like coaching maybe, or even negative effect in
Yeah,
that sense. But that'd be quite a good podcast to do, to be fair.
because I kind of see the negative. You can kind of be like, oh, you being a coach, you can be like, oh, but I want my defensive midfielder to do these sort of runs or be in this position, and you begin thinking, oh, but from the game, he
It's
stays in
not the
this
same.
area. So
Yeah.
that's the sort of like the conflict you can have with it, but it's still something. When we've not been able to coach our players, it's just something there, and it's something has been learned, and it's definitely visible because before lockdown, we played a similar formation, and it wasn't as tactically aware, like tactically
Mhm.
a sound as that. So
I think as well as when it was a game before lockdown we played and we changed the formation like 3 times within the game, didn't we?
yeah,
Which was crazy. And that was just because of players and stuff, like players being tired and players being injured and wanting to come off, and then you've got like adapt the way you play.
yeah, definitely,
I think that's something we'll definitely experience over the coming weeks. With players who can't play, players who get injured and stuff like that. So it's just finding that right formation that's going to fit all around the whole team and structurally be sound even when some players are injured. You know what I mean?
yeah, definitely,
So I
definitely,
think finding that balance is ideal.
yeah. But like as we mentioned earlier, we talked about how our main goal is to get everybody socially interacted, and we definitely did that within our team. But everybody was bantering, enjoying it. The biggest problem I had, I thought we had was like 48 hours before the game, we had about 12 players. Game day, we had about 17, and it's quite difficult to rotate players, and it's just that's what I thought was the most difficult thing to deal with on the match day.
Because obviously we're both trying to make every player happy. So I remember there was a moment where there was 7 lads something on the bench, and they're all like, "Oh, can we come back on now?" And I'm thinking, how am I going to get all these on? And no, not
Without
upset
without
someone.
without bringing someone who's come on has to go back off. Like
Yeah,
it's annoying, but
yeah. So
luckily
it's
we have
trying to get that. It's trying to do that and create that balance of
yeah,
them playing for a bit and then coming off. And I think that's what I think. Though what was good about our team is they understand that.
yeah,
It's just about getting people minutes and
definitely,
stuff.
yeah,
And having like fun and engaging. I don't think there was one person that moaned when they came off or anything like that. Like there was players there that played longer than others, but I think everyone was just happy to be playing again.
Yeah, definitely, and that's what kind of benefits our team is the more experience of the more senior players within the team. Like that's how we coped with that pressure of rotating the players. Is what we used our experienced players to kind of like take the bullet and come off to let the other players play because
Yeah,
they understand it more and they have a deeper understanding of the reasoning behind we're doing it. So
yeah,
that's how I felt like we coped with it, and it worked.
yeah.
At the end of the day,
It's
end of the day, it worked.
it's like you'd bring off the players that like you said, they're more experienced because you know that they're not going to kind of give you a bit of stick for coming off. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Stuff like that. But obviously, I think we did rotate it quite well considering we thought we were going to have like 12 players and then we ended up with 17. Which like because I think an issue with student union like because and like especially with like social media and stuff like that, it's like communication can be like really ineffective sometimes. So you could turn up
yeah,
to a game thinking this player isn't going to turn up, and then he rocks up to the game 2 minutes before it's about to kick off, and you're thinking like,
yeah.
oh, where have you come from? Like,
Been texting you
so
all
like
day.
it's about trying to like get everyone on, but like being aware of them situations can happen when like five people turn up and want to play.
Yeah, yeah. I think another issue I kind of thought we had was, but there was kind of some players who just turned up just to play a game of football and not really turned up to have a like social interact or
Yeah.
talk with the squad. I feel like that's kind of an issue that we need to kind of address. How would you deal with that? What would your like ways?
Uh, to be fair, I think I know what you mean. But there was players who turned up where they weren't like really socially interacting with us, like sat on the side kind of thing, and just
How would you
you
deal
know,
with that?
personally, it's about including them. I think within the group as well, because obviously there was a specific player of him, the new guy that's joined, and I could tell that he felt a bit like out of place. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I went over and spoke to him for a bit and just talked to him, but you could tell he was a bit out of place because he didn't know all the lads and they all know each other. And I think that's like quite a daunting thing going into a new group, and especially there's quite a lot of big characters. So I think trying to like get everyone involved. I know it's an easy to say, but trying to get everyone involved and engaging is like the best thing to do. Or do you know what I mean?
but
But
what would
it's
your
hard to do that
yeah?
sometimes.
But what would your method be? If you had to pick a method, if you had to just think of a method right now, like what would it be? Like for example, could it be like maybe it's hard because of COVID, you can't really have like a social, like you can't have a
That
social event at a
like
pub.
yeah, that's what I mean. Like you like obviously because I'm thinking of like COVID and stuff now. If we weren't in COVID, it'd be something like that, like a
Yeah,
social interaction, like a like
try and
kind
get
of
them off
like
the
team
shell.
building, isn't it? Like going to the pub or like going out or just going to the park and having like a kickabout and getting everyone involved. Because then it's like you can't have that now where you've got to try and have it over social media and it's really difficult. So Alvin, obviously we spoke about like the effect of social media like in previous podcasts and stuff. And I think that like that's the problem is that it's hard to create them like team building exercises because of COVID. But
Yeah,
hopefully now, I don't know how long the league's gonna last. I think it might be till the start of June.
yeah,
Hopefully by that time, just COVID's down and we can go do more of that team building stuff like you mentioned there.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Yeah, that's the biggest conflict we've got as a coach is just
Yeah.
try to involve people who aren't really, socially active or socially confident as other players.
Mm.
And because of COVID, it is kind of restricting it. But there is little things we can do, like little football drills where we can enhance the communication or
I think like a big one for that is like when we do the El Rondo and everyone does it and two people go in the middle and like someone gets megged and then we all have a laugh or something like that. I think that's a way of like a minor way of like having that banter kind of thing. And
yeah.
it's in a way is like a social interaction, but you're still involved in football. But
I feel like as well with that, we got when we say like instead of the person loses the ball and goes in, like the person to your left always also goes in. So there's
yeah,
also that kind of connection there as well. And if you're to the left and the guy to the right, like you losing the ball, you can be like, oh come on, like what are you
what you
doing?
doing? Yeah.
Little stuff like that is a bit of banter, and it just it like obviously it just works.
You don't think about them things, but in a way like the
It does.
the warm ups before the games are a massive part of the interaction. And I think if you have a warm up where you're all like, even though I'd say the warm up that we did, it wasn't the greatest warm up in the world. You know what I mean, because we were back, so we're being like very lenient. So like, but I think everyone was socially interacting, everyone was talking, everyone was having a laugh, and then in the game you could see everyone was engaging, and everyone was having a laugh, wasn't they? Like
Yeah,
everyone was like really enjoying themselves playing. Like they weren't like taking the mick, but they were like really enjoying themselves playing. So I think that's like a massive part of it you don't even think about. That the warm up comes into that,
yeah,
that social interaction. So I think that can have like benefits, like benefits psychologically as well. To be fair, because like you
definitely.
know what I mean, you constantly you're talking with everyone, and it's like kind of got a positive well-being, haven't you? If you're talking to everyone, interacting, and you're focusing on your football, then because you're all
Yeah,
engaging through football.
and
So
then we know from like so many sources of research like this interaction reduces stress, anxiety, and
mm.
depression as all. But moving forward, how would you what would you improve from last match day, or what would you start to focus a bit more?
um, I definitely think like the possible, like 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 we said, we came a bit prepared, like not prepared at the start.
Yeah,
Um, I would definitely try and try and get a basis of the team that's turning up.
yeah,
And not just saying to every player, yeah, turn up, but even if there's sometimes if there's you don't want 18 players sitting on the side because not all of them are going to get a time. So you've got to say like maybe even when we're playing, just say, oh, do you want to play for the other team if they're short
yeah.
on players? I think we could have done that to be fair when we were playing 'cause it was like more
I
of a
asked
friend,
him.
wasn't it?
I did ask him if he wanted any of our players, and he said it sound. So
Yeah, I think just a bit more of a friendly that was all right. But I mean, isn't I think we need to become a bit more better prepared,
I think
um,
maybe the
understanding what team we're going to have basically. But I think that's really difficult with the student union because anyone could turn up. Do you
yeah,
know?
especially definitely it battles our goal as we want to bring all these people down. Like you imagine. We want to bring everybody down, everybody be like socially interactive with each other. So how like it kind of goes against our ways when we have to like reduce the squad number. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I think. That's like we have like a lot of conflict there, isn't it? Because we could like we're saying that we want everyone to get involved and all that, but when you've got 18 players there and you've got to say to a few like, come on, like you can play next week or you'll start next week. That's not getting everyone involved. But then if you have 18 players, some of them aren't going to come on. So I don't
Yeah,
know what's worse in that, not telling the player you're going to start next week or telling him to come to the game and then not going to play and
yeah.
he get a few minutes at the end. So I think there's a lot to go with that way. It's hard. It can be sometimes be difficult to manage. So, but I think over time, I think you learn to manage them like relationships with the players as well. Like to be like, oh, is it okay if you sit out this game and then you can start the next game and stuff like that?
Would as a player, would you rather get texted by a manager saying, "Oh, we've got too many players. He's demanding if you just come down and watch, and we won't get game time," or would you like not get that text and come down, get like 10 minutes at the end, for example?
I'd prefer the text to start with because at least you've pre-warned him then. And then that's the person. And if the player's like, oh well, I don't want to turn up, then you're thinking, well, oh well, I would have maybe started him next week because he didn't play now, but then he hasn't turned up. So like maybe he just wants a regular start every week, and it's like sometimes that you're not going to get that. But yeah, I think I'd want the text. Like I think sometimes, especially in this league, it can become a bit can become bad in the sense of like you could turn up to a game and there's a lad there not playing, and you're thinking like you've travelled down here to play, like to have like a good time playing football and
You're not.
engage with people, and you're just not even doing that. You just sat, and then it kind of ruins your day. I think can really like, ruin your day that because you're just like I've come all down, travel down, and I've got to just go back and not doing anything and then travel all the way back home again. I think
Well,
because there's lads who come from quite a few places, so I think it can be it's quite a really difficult one
I
to be
feel like
fair.
it's with the format of the SU leagues, like we've been put into like a very good quality group, and if
Mm.
we feel that if we want to do well in that group, we want to win games and get like a cup at the end of the season. That's some of the things we're gonna have to be doing. And even though it's awful to say it as like the coach, but we're gonna have to use his approach. It's kind of out of our hands in a sense because we don't want to be losing. We don't want to lose all our games. We want
Uh,
to.
yeah, we like you said, we don't want to lose all the games, but it's I think it's about about making it fun and engaging, but it's not going to be fun and engaging if you're losing every week.
And it's not. It's well, if you,
You know what I mean?
we've been put in that group for a reason. If like we're not going to compete. We're also like taking it away from our opponents as well. Like you got to take them into consideration as well because like they're coming down. They've been put in that group and they want to compete. Like the UConn's first team, they want to play against the best team they can play against, and we're there to field that or give them the best match as we possibly
Yeah,
can.
better match they can, yeah, kind of thing. I think it's like as well. It's I think like because it's quite obviously it's like I wouldn't say it's like a friendly competition, is it? Because it is competitive, but I
Yeah,
mean it's like in a sense we're all helping each other. Like we're helping you, kind of you helping you clans first, because obviously they're not going to be playing us if everything was back to normal now. But in a way, we're kind of helping them because we're giving them a challenge. You know what I mean? So we
yeah,
want to make it engaging, but we don't want to make it like too serious where people are just focusing on the competitive side of it, but making it fun. But
yeah,
like I always think that when people say, "Oh, um, you can learn a lot from losing," but if you're losing every week, you're not learning anything
yeah.
because you need to progress, don't you, to win. So I think
Inspirational that
about
though.
and I know it's about making it fun, but like kind of competitive, but not overly competitive.
Yeah, but like yeah, so this weekend we're going to be playing against UConn's first. It's going to be a good game. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah, yeah. I am looking forward to it. I think I think that was the biggest test in it. That
Yeah,
game. I think that'll test everything. Definitely test fitness, like especially with the lads. But I think with a game like that, a lot of heads can go down before like it's kicked off.
yeah.
Because they like you come first team you
Oh, I
play.
used to
But
play for Manchester City. Oh no.
yeah, I hate that. Oh, this lad used to play for Preston. It's like, oh, what do you mean? And I've got to play against him or something. Yeah, it's not ideal, but I mean, it'll be a challenge. You know what I mean? I think no matter what the score is, I think the lads would obviously. I think they'll give a good performance anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Anything else in regards to our first match day back after COVID?
I don't think there's anything else. I think there's a few things we've labeled there, like that we need to improve on, especially like with the preparation, because obviously we've come prepared. We didn't know who we were having or what
Yeah,
players we would be, but I think there's definitely things that just need like slight tweaking, and I think we're on our way to hopefully have a successful season towards the start of June. Sorry.
yeah, definitely, definitely. Well, yeah, like you mentioned, we're going to be just talking. We discussed our conflict. We discussed how we're going to cope with these
Mm.
pressures moving forward, and we'll definitely keep you guys updated in more podcasts of how we do and other problems which occur. Hopefully, there's not that many. But
Yeah,
never,
I don't think there will be.
nevertheless, thank you guys for watching another episode of the Fylde Road Coaching Podcast. Please subscribe, like, comment your own opinions around this podcast. We're really interested to know. But that's it from us. Yep. Goodbye.
Yeah, that's it for me. See you later.